When it comes to portable gaming these days, most people don't want to be lugging around a dedicated console. Their phones are much more powerful than they've ever been before, and they can play all the games they could ever want right there with so many other features and applications. My big issue with mobile gaming is the fact that touchscreen input just doesn't feel right. I like to have a controller in my hands. I don't like virtual keyboards, I'd much rather have a keypad. But finding something these days to do that just doesn't happen all that often. That's where Moga have stepped in. They have a series of dedicated Bluetooth controllers designed for iOS and Android use to help you get that retro feel and real tactile feedback when you play video games on the go. I made the purchase of a Moga Pocket. It's the smaller of the devices, has a few fewer buttons as well as some of the bigger ones, but it fit my price range of being only about £10. Getting my hands on the device, it does feel a touch small, but the analog sticks themselves feel very good. They're quite a fair bit of resistance, but plenty of movement to them, and they don't feel like they travel too much. There are a total of 6 face buttons in fact. A, B, X, Y, which feel pretty good in my fingers. They start and select, which are rubbery buttons which can be assigned elsewhere depending on the device you're using. On the top you've got L and R, which are very nice triggers, and just set it back just enough so that they're not intrusive or too far away, but very nice in the hands. The device is powered by 2 AAA batteries. I don't know whether it's a problem with all of them, but I personally had trouble getting one of the cases off. I had to take a screwdriver to it in fact, but once I've done that, it now slides on and off fine. And then of course you have the genius part of the whole device where you flip out the holster and then you stretch the rubber band, I believe it's a rubber band, it could be even on a spring by the sound of things, to fit in your mobile device, and it will sit in there, hold it nice and tight with a very nice rubber grip, and it will hold it nice and still as you play games on the go. Setup using the Moga application is nice and simple. The whole device is already pre-programmed for all the games you can download via that store, although you may find issues actually using that store. I personally prefer to use a third-party device to assign the buttons individually to the games. Trying to find games to work with it are obviously difficult because most games now are designed to be used with touchscreen controls or tilt controls, but the ones that do, I've not had any problems assigning the button controls to. Playing the packed-in game Pac-Man, it's very responsive. It's a lot easier to use the analog stick than it was using the touchscreen. I'm very impressed with the feel of it during this gameplay. The box did promise the redemption of a Sonic CD game, but I think that code has expired. Therefore, I gave it a go on one of my other Sonic games that I have. And I can have to say, it's not one-to-one on this because it is purely emulation and not on the original device, but it still feels very good, still very playable, and very responsive altogether. Trying to make use of all the buttons on the controller, we'll try something a little bit more technical with Street Fighter, the Super version from the SNES. Everything, all the inputs work perfectly, all the buttons are very responsive. I just suck at the game. That's not the fault of the controller why I'm doing no good on this. So all in all, this is a nifty little device. To be honest, I probably could have splashed out a bit more and got one of the bigger ones and be able to use it on a wider variety of games. But for what I use it for gaming on the go, it's usually only simple games that I play anyway. So this is perfect for me. This has been a fantastic purchase for me, and I personally think anyone who plays any sort of retro style video games that really need the tactile response of a controller and buttons to really invest in one of these. Right, now Wario, where is that treasure? We're done. Bye. Come on.